Celebrity, true or false?
You can't handle the truth.
That's our production value.
You guys,
you know, can appreciate that.
They have AI now. They could probably jimmy that up for you guys.
I don't know. I don't know. We're kind of old school.
It's old school.
It's old school.
Okay.
All right. First up, true or false, Elizabeth Banks. The reason you turned to acting was that you broke your leg playing softball and finally had time to be in a school play. Is that true or false?
That is true.
Really?
That is 100% true. And actually, I just was home for the weekend visiting my parents.
Yes.
And the street, my dad was like, make a right down this street. I go, Dad, you know, I never drive down this street because this is the street the field is on where I broke my leg, this traumatic experience. And he goes, oh, come on. And we drove past the field. Literally last weekend,
yes.
I drove past that field where I slid into third base, snapped my leg, spiral fracture, both my tibia and fibula.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was bad. I had a surgery, like the whole 9 yards. And I sang in like the choir a little. Yeah. And the music teacher said, you know, I'm going to do Jesus Christ Superstar. And you could wear, she didn't want me to be Mary Magdalene, by the way. She said, you could wear a long robe over your walking cast, which I was going to have in the following spring.
Yes.
Because that's how long. It was like summer all the way to spring. In a full cast. And then I finally was getting in the walking cast and she said, you could wear a robe over it and play Pontius Pilate. And that was it. I got bit by the bug then. I was a latchkey kid, so my mom and dad were like, you got to do something after school.
Yeah.
You can't just hang about.
Sure.
And so that was what I ended up doing because I couldn't play sports anymore.
But even to this day, I mean... But to this day, though, I mean, if it wasn't for that moment, who knows, right? I mean, like, so maybe we should start driving down that street. Liz, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
I don't want to think. I can literally still hear the sound of it breaking, like the twigs, branches. Mm-hmm. Like I have the trauma is like internal. Like I can sense it still. So I don't wish it on anybody. And yet it did change my life for the better.
For the better. Okay, so that's true.
Yeah.
Next up, true or false? The owners of Camp Towanda, where Wet Hot American Summer was filmed, were told that this was going to be a family comedy and were mortified when they saw the final cut of the movie. I
don't know the answer to this.
Okay.
What I can tell you is we desecrated that place. I mean, poor Camp Towanda. It was like we had to shoot, first of all, there's me and Rudd. We had to shoot pre-camp, which is on the East Coast, April showers bring May flowers. It rained all the way through the shoot. We were shooting, they were like, we're going to open the camp in the summer. We're not closing down the camp for you.
Right.
So we had to shoot pre-summer camp. So it was freezing and it was raining almost the entire time we were there. So we lived in the mud and we tracked mud everywhere. Janine Garofalo brought her dogs to set. They were muddy. They would come into a room, shake out mud everywhere. I mean, I felt so badly. And then they saw the movie that we made. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how they actually felt about it.
Look out. Because, I mean, but when you look at the cast, though, now,
I also think we made summer camp seem cool. I'm sure the summer camp, you know, your kids go, my kids go. Yeah. I feel like summer camp didn't suffer from Wet Hot American Summer.
No, not at all. But I mean, just when you look back again at the cast and what you guys have become.
It's crazy.
Like at the time, you know, like it was a camp in its own right. You know what I mean? For you guys to actually...
Oh, it was like we were adults at camp.
But you desecrated the place, is what you're saying. Okay.
It was bad.
Good to know. Next up, true or false, you got the gig in 40-year-old version because you crushed improv with Steve Carell during your audition.
I think that's correct. So I think that's true. So I had done Seabiscuit and this Merchant Ivory. I was very serious. I went to drama school and I got into the industry and I was like, yeah, but I'm also funny. And I feel like you get put in a box really easily. Mm-hmm. And you kind of like, you know, you're going to do the things like someone was like, you're a lot like Jennifer Connelly. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, she's incredible, but I feel like I'm a goof, you know?
Yes.
And so I really think I was the last person to audition for that role in 40-Year-Old Virgin, and they were very far into the process, and they weren't finding this character, Beth. And so I came in and I ended up improvising with Steve, and I basically did a lap dance like with him. He's the nicest man in the world, and he's so uncomfortable. But my character's whole thing is she makes him completely sexually uncomfortable the entire film.
Right.
And she's totally open about it, and she's like up for anything and super wild. So I was just like, I'm just going to do that while we're there. And the film is a lot of improv anyway. So that scene that you just showed was the do-it-yourself line. We were shooting in a real bookstore, and there was a DIY section of the bookstore, and I literally saw the sign across the way and came up. That's where line came from.
So that was not in the film.
That was not, no. That's mostly improv, that section of that.
That scene.
That interaction between us, yes. Do you like to do it yourself? Was literally me seeing a sign across the room.
Well, I guess it's glad that it wasn't like some sort of science book or whatever that's on the wall.
No,
like you actually had that.
They're all geniuses at improv. Although John Michael Higgins, I give it up to him. He's my all-time. He's the all-time greatest.
Again, those scenes with you and he in Pitch Perfect films, hilarious.
He's
laugh out loud,
incredible improv artist.
I know all that stuff. From
he did all the Christopher Guest movies. Yeah.
My God,
he's incredible.
He is great, and also a game show host in his own right as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, he is.
Next up, true or false? Elizabeth Banks. There was a swear jar on the set of The Hunger Games, and the one who contributed the most money was Jennifer Lawrence.
I don't recall the swear jar. I feel like there was something, but I will confirm. True. Sailor. She's has the vocabulary of a sailor.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the best way.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why everybody loves her, right? She just
So then if there was a swear jar, she would have contributed the most money.
She would have absolutely owed it the most.
In what?
Yes.
In what? Just like blowing a line and saying something or any...
Or everyday conversation or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. She loves she likes a swear word.
Okay.
She did. I mean, she's a mother now. I don't know.
Right. Well, have you shown your boys Hunger Games yet or not yet?
I just confirmed that they watched it when I was not around.
Oh.
So
How did it hit him? Being hunted?
I get no love for any of it, Rich. I don't get props for any of it. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, okay, we saw that. That's about what I get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. All right.
Somebody's got to keep you humble in this business, Rich.
I understand that. Well,
might as well be a 13-year-old.
Well, I wasn't asking them about them giving you tips on acting better.
They like the movies.
No, but about children being hunted for game is what I'm saying. How did that hit a child?
Have you met the world we're living in right now?
I haven't.
This is child's play at this point.
Child's play, everybody. All right, a couple more left for you, Elizabeth Banks. True or false? While making Oliver Stone's debut in Louisiana,
yes,
Val Kilmer and 50 Cent rolled up to the set one day in a convertible Bentley.
Yeah.
To tell you they rented out a local theater, and that's where you watch The Doors with the cast and crew.
That is true. Isn't that crazy?
What the hell? What do you like? All right, what's the meat on these bones?
That was true.
I have some of your
honestly
rosé.
don't look. There they are. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't know how their friendship came together. I believe that 50 gifted Val that car. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't know all. I don't. I literally was texting with Josh Brolin. I remember this right. These guys came down here. It was crazy. Brolin's knew Val, much better than I did. Uh-huh. But they came down and we got to watch The Doors, and he and Oliver Stone, they had made The Doors together. Then sort of they sat in the back, they were giggling, delighting in watching it with us. I have a feeling they weren't sober, and it was just freaking, it was just one of those super surreal, pinch me, how did I get here moments.
Right.
And we had the cast and crew with us, and we were watching the movie, and then they kind of talked to us about making the movie, and they had fought while making the movie, but it just sounded so, it was just a little piece of history that was great to be a part of.
Right.
And I so enjoyed meeting him, and their presence was like a little bit of magic.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, to be able to just that's Fitty, and that's a Bentley convertible, and that's Val Kilmer. Oh, and we're going to go see a movie together.
Yeah, we're all going to.
Kind of nuts.
It was nuts.
That is pretty. Certainly if there was alcohol involved.
There's always, it's every once in a while, people. I remember David Blaine came to the set of Hunger Games and just started doing magic for everybody. I think Woody invited him, Woody Harrelson, and next thing I knew, we used to play Settlers of Catan in Woody's bus, and we would have to take everyone accused everyone else of cheating.
Okay.
So there would be if we had to go to set while playing, we would take photos of the board and everybody's stuff so nobody could build a road longer or add pieces or anything. And David came and played with us, and I feel like I don't want to say he was I can't accuse anyone of anything, but magically I feel like he won everything. And so I just say every once in a while there's a set visit that just feels so magical, and somebody kind of comes in from the outside that just blesses the set with, I don't know, some great, mojo.
Well, David Blaine sounds like exactly that type of guy.
Nobody got any work done.
All right, last one for you. True.
Same the day Val was there.
True or false, Elizabeth Banks, you keep the cocaine bear's head at home in your office. True or false?
That is true.
Okay.
That is true,
Well,
and
they
I'm
put
actually
this out here for this part of the conversation. On
the
top
hat
of
we
your,
gifted you.
the
Yeah,
hat, yes.
we love this hat.
Cocaine bear.
The cocaine bear hat. That is true. So we had a bear head made that is an exact replica of a black bear. I mean, it is a black bear, and it was for we on set. You need it to look at lighting and as a reference, and so the crew there. That is it. That is the bear, and that is in my home. And yeah, it's in my office. And actually, I need to put it under some lucite casing or something. It's a she, by the way. The cocaine bear is female.
In real life? Or?
In real life, the cocaine bear, as you may recall, has 2 cubs and defends her cubs in the 3rd act of the movie against the incredible Ray Liotta.
Well, the mother
that's right. The
child
mother's
story kind of gets lost amongst the haze of all the cocaine that is consumed.
But it's one of the reasons I made the film was to really
the mother story?
Yeah. I felt strongly that I wanted to correct the record that Cocaine Bear was female.
Was there anything you shot as the director of this film where you thought too much and we can't do this?
Yes.
There is.
There,
can you tell me?
On the cutting room floor is some very gory, bloody. I mean, we have
there's a lot
we
on
have
the, on the
limbs.
screen
We've
as
got
well.
a hole in the head. We've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Double that up, and we had to take that out.
Has there been in our
people that were like,
sure,
that's making me sick to my stomach.
Even too much.
A little bit too much
for this film.
Yeah.
Have there been in our crazy nutty world suggestions to you? Let's do another one, but just cocaine with a different animal.
Of course,
different species.
People love this genre now. It's like its own genre, but also it's all real life. Like the sharks are eating cocaine in the ocean because it's getting dumped. In the ocean, right? Yeah. Like the rats are eating cocaine on the streets of New York. I mean, these are real things that they're finding out.
And so
maybe there'll be another animal a high animal. I don't know. The bear story, was that also came from real life. And
right.
So it's really, to me, just will we have a real life touchstone that we can expand upon?
Okay.
In this genre.
That would be great.
That would top the bear. I don't know.
I mean, you kind of stuck the landing, Liz, on that one.
It's pretty great.
I know.
It feels complete.
So you do have the head
in
your home
I have
office.
the head if we ever go again.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yeah, don't rob me.
Let's not do that. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.